All my love is all I have, and my dreams are very special. All my life I look for you, and today my dreams come true. You need me, and I need you. Loving us is very special. Things you seem to do divine. You look straight into my eyes. I know our love is meant to be. I know you're wondering, girl. Your girl Elisha is here for another what? Tuesday Night Live? Because guess what? Tips for Tuesday starts right now. Five, four, three, two, one. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday, everybody. This is your girl Elisha coming to you for another Tuesday Night Live. Tips for Tuesday. And this is very special. I know, your girl got to hit a note here and there. Your girl got to hit. Matter of fact, your girl got to hit a note. Okay. And thank you for joining us tonight for this Tips for Tuesday anniversary edition. This year is our 19th anniversary with custom creation photography. I am your girl Elisha, head photographer of custom creation photography. And yes, we are celebrating our 19th anniversary. Meaning, we actually picked up a DSLR camera in the year 2006, September. Okay. And on each September, we try to celebrate or we celebrate our anniversary. The fact that we are still here, we are still up and going, we are still capturing images and all the things. Okay. So thanks so much for joining us tonight. And we have a special show for you tonight, a special edition where, again, this month, what we have been doing is reflecting back onto our photography in our journey. Okay. So I know it's kind of been I usually take September and I talk about the past, and I've done that as well. But I've been kind of busy a lot, so I haven't did as reflective as I wanted to do. However, I just have to a lot of times just reflect on these stories because it just reminds of how far we've come and just the changes in the world, the changes in trends, the changes in everything. So. I just want to kind of just dial back because my topic tonight is how the business has evolved or how it has evolved, starting with that's what our talk is about, just the how the business evolved from basically shooting in my apartment, using my apartment as a studio to just going into special events and branding and just some different things like that. And now into what a lot of people call it content, but I feel like over the years, we've always been creating this content, because I think images, videos, all that kind of stuff is content, and so this is something I feel like I've been doing already for years, just didn't have a label of content creation on that. Okay, so again, we started in our living room, and I have a video about, our very early beginnings and different things like that. I actually, truth be told, our business evolved a lot of times because of the layoffs of different jobs that we've had. And one year I had cashed out my 401k and I invested in a backdrop. And backdropping some lights and stuff, and basically that's how that it was my a backdrop in a dream, you know. Oh, that's a good segment. A backdrop in a dream. Okay. And so we kind of just started with there, and I had a point and shoot camera, and then I kind of graduated to a DSLR camera and stuff, and just be kind of start just starting from scratch, and just I took that look, I took the lens cap off that camera and just start taking pictures, you know and I was taking in and anything that I could capture, any moment that I can capture, I was just taking those pictures and finding a lot of joy in doing so. And so from the jump, I just got out there and just felt like, hey, this is what I'm doing. So basically everything I learned from scratch. I didn't know anything. And I mean, from posing, editing, everything, client care, just how to grab a customer and stuff like that. I feel like, when you're marketing or anything like that, just let people know what you're doing. Okay. So, whew, I have so many, just kind of stories and journeys and people that I've met along the way, which I have talked about it. I've talked about on my blog. I've talked about, and I'm always ever so grateful of those folks that God put in my path. To help me and to evolve me, into just where we are today, And I'm thankful for the journey. I'm thankful for the stories. I'm thankful because starting out, I couldn't have told you that almost 20 years later, here we are. Okay. So, our tips tonight for you is we got 5 simple tips, um, which is tips for creative growth, or tips for growth, or just tips for consistency, or tips for just just keep going. Okay. um so like I said, we started out in our living room and we were taking pictures. I mean, you can get 3 hours worth of pictures for $25, so print them out, all different things like that. And as we continued doing that, we kind of evolved, and it was kind of a kind of a natural evolution, you know. We were connecting and networking and different things like that. And then I got hired to do a special event, from someone that I had a network with on Twitter at the time. It's X now. See how things evolve? Um, and I networked with that person, and I actually had did some volunteer work with her because she had decided at that time that she was volunteering her birthday, and she wanted to kind of help women with children that were kind of in a shelter or something. And so what we did was she went there and she gifted them gifts and different things like that for her birthday. And what I did is I took pictures of, the activities and what she was gifting and different things like that. But that opportunity led me to a paid opportunity, in which when I got that first paid opportunity, well, that's not necessarily my first, but my first paid with a contract and some different things like that. Um, I It was funny because she reached out to me. She said, "Hey, I would like to hire you for my client. Where they're having a holiday party, and I would like you to photograph that holiday party. And please just send over your deposit information and a contract." I'm like, "A contract? What is that?" And I had been going along with verbal agreements and different things like that. A contract? What is that? So anyway, thank goodness for Google, and I was able to locate me some kind of contract and put it together, and I got my first paid assignment. And so went there, did the work and everything like that, and it worked out fantastic. And from that point, honestly, um, the client kind of passed my name around, and I just got my name passed around, because sometimes people do word of mouth when you do good work or you make connections and stuff like that. And so I start getting passed around. So things had quickly evolved from me doing, those sessions in my living room, or home sessions, or portrait sessions and everything. Things quickly evolved into special events. And as I was doing the special events, I actually enjoyed the special events. It wasn't a lot of pressure or anything like that. And I think um, I didn't know that then, but as years went by, I realized that my camera was connecting me with people. I was connected with people, and it was just a beautiful thing for me. Excuse me. Let's see here. It was a beautiful thing for me, to connect with people. And so I was able to go out and I was able to capture details and post images and celebrate. And I was always at somebody's celebration and different things like that. So my business had quickly evolved from portrait. I still did that. However, I started becoming known as a special event photographer. And I began over the years to get hired for special events. And along with that, I was actually doing custom decorations and different things like that. So I actually got my certification in special event planning, special event and different things like that. So hand in hand, special event photography, special event certification, and doing custom decorations. I mean, this was a match made in heaven. I was doing all the things. So this was all very good for me. So um, things have just evolved. You know what I'm saying? You start one way and things just begin to evolve. Even to today, we're evolving. Social media is really super big. I have evolved into managing social media, helping create digital assets for companies and businesses and different things like that, using photography, using video, using my um event know-how, and just different skills that I have learned over the years, because things continually evolving, trends are changing, needs of people are changing, needs of businesses are changing, you know, and so you have to kind of evolve with the time. So, tip number one is start with what you have, and that is exactly what I did. Like I said, I cashed out. I got my 401k. I bought me a backdrop and some lights. I had a point and shoot camera. I didn't realize I needed a different type of camera, but I started with what I got. I was shooting. Okay. Tip number two is stay open to evolving. Just like I just was saying, we're doing stuff in the living room. I end up moving to another home and I was still doing that, but I had got put on with special events, just doing some different things. I was open to new ideas. I would listen to what my clients were needing. I mean, there's so many things I would always listen to. I never like to overstep, even though I'm a creative person. I never like to overstep. So I always like to let my client explain to me what they're looking for, and then we would craft a session or something around what it is that they want. I never have been the person like, no, 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 I don't really do that. Not unless it was something very extreme. But we're always kind of, that's why I'm called custom. We're custom creating you what you need. Okay? So stay open to evolving. Number three is to document the process. Oh my goodness. That is my favorite things to do. People call that now BTS, behind the scenes. So documenting the process. I have actually literally documented my journey. And that is why it is so wonderful when September comes around, or anytime comes around, a throwback Thursday, a flashback Friday um comes around, and you're able to flash back to an earlier time. I am so thankful of the images. I'm thankful to these 19 years, okay? Because I am able to reflect on my journey and see every step of the way, and when I see those pictures, when I see those things, it puts me right back to that spot. They say a photo is worth a thousand words, and a lot of times I can look at a thing and I can remember everything about what was going on that day and different things like that. And that is actually how I even take the approach when I'm shooting my events. I try to capture that moment so you can remember just that moment, the feeling, how it felt, how it smelled, how it looked, just everything. So, oh my gosh. Document the process. I love behind the scenes. I love behind the scenes. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I have been doing it actually for years. People call it now BTS. Okay? BTS. All right. Number four, learn new skills as you go. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. We have to learn new skills. Over these years, there's so much software, there's so many things that have happened. In 2006, there was no such thing as a Facebook, as a Twitter. And if there was a Facebook, I didn't know about it, okay? Because I didn't join till 2009. Facebook, Twitter, all these social media platforms, all these the AI now, look at all the things that have come into play over the years. Even different styles of photography. The different styles of I was once in, doing studio work and backdrops and different things like that. At one point in time, the trend was lifestyle. Lifestyle was outside, finding very nice places and different things like that, which was actually a great time because you didn't have to rent out a studio, or if you didn't have a studio or anything like that, and then you could use the sun, which was a natural light, as doing photos. I mean, just a fantastic time. So a lot of times you have to learn new skills. There's so much happening in the world and there's so much evolving in the world. So in order to stay up with the times, you definitely have to learn new skills. You know, we're no longer at one point. I was at the time when I was burning CDs. I was burning digital images on CDs, and I graduated to thumb drive, graduated to electronic transfers. you know at one point I was listening to cassette tapes, at one point I was listening to CDs, then MP3s. Now we got Spotify, Apple Music, and Pandora. So you basically got to learn new skills. New stuff is coming every day. And number 5 is keep your vision in focus even when things feel slow. And I definitely can attest to that, keeping the vision in focus, because a lot of times you have ebb and flows. Sometimes you feel up, sometimes you're down, sometimes you might have a creative block, sometimes you're overwhelmed with stuff, you might be uninspired and different things like that when things kind of feel slow and stuff like that. And then there's always something that comes and recharges you. I know for me, and I talk about this to my friends, and I'm going to talk about it to you. A lot of times, really, like my gift, and I thank God for it, a person can be talking to me. I love talking to people, especially small businesses, people who are starting out, who are just starting, and they have an idea and they have a vision, and it just, it's super big and stuff like that. But if I'm talking to a person, I can literally start visually mapping out everything about their business visually, how to market, all these different things. That is my gift, and I get so charged up, and I'm just like, okay, how can we get started? What can we do? Just so I can basically, get you jump started into the process, because visuals are a big deal. They are a big deal, and you can look like $1 million with some good photography, good video, and some good stuff. You can look like $1 million, and you might just be starting out. Okay, so just keep the vision in focus, and even when things feel slow. Okay, so those are my tips for Tuesday, how things evolved, how my creative business have evolved. This is our anniversary, and I love talking about um just things of the past, and just kind of where we're headed now. It really is an exciting time, um with so much technology evolving. Um it's very exciting, so y'all just kind of stay tuned, and I just want to go over those 5 tips again. Okay, number 1, start with what you have. Listen, you don't have to get the latest and the greatest if you don't already have that. Start with what you have. Like I said, I had a backdrop and a dream. Okay. Number 2, stay open to evolving. Okay. Don't get stuck in your ways. Don't get stuck in your ways. Don't still have the VCR and we're doing some other things now. We're streaming. Don't do the DVD and all that stuff, and we're streaming now, okay? Streaming from our phones, our computers, or you streaming this, okay? Number 3, document the process. Show the behind the scenes, record what's going on. It definitely, to me, is very beneficial. It tells a story, you know? Number 4, learn new skills as you go. Find something that you want to learn. Find something, whether it's new technology, just anything. Find something that you want to learn. And number 5, keep your vision in focus, even when things get slow. Okay? I am your girl, Elisha, coming to you for another Tuesday night live. This was something very special. I hope y'all like my song in the beginning. I hope you like my song in the beginning. I want to thank you for joining us tonight, as always. And listen, if you haven't had a chance, listen, your girl wrote an e-guide, okay? If you travel from city to city and you like to have wonderful images, wonderful memories, and different things like that, I have written a guide. It is called Snap and Go. It is your content travel guide. Okay. And this is a blueprint on how to hire photographers and content creators from city to city so that you can walk away from that city with beautiful, polished images and memories. So check it out. It is available on our website for a download. Support your girl. The download is $7. Okay. And it comes immediately right to your phone. Okay. Also, if you're looking to manifest the life of your dreams, okay, you can start tonight. We have a manifestation manual right on our website. Check us out, see what we're doing. We're evolving, we're doing different things, we're teaching what we know. Okay? Grab you a copy and start manifesting the life of your dreams tonight. Again, I am your girl Elisha coming to you for another Tuesday Night Live Tips for Tuesday. And as always, there's more to come. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.